The Chanel 19 handbag. Am I still not a fan, or have I changed my tune? Hi guys, I hope that you're all having a fabulous day. Welcome back to my channel. Now I'm sure some of you are looking at that thumbnail going, wait, what? When did she get the Chanel 19? Especially if you've been watching my channel for a while. Many of you know how I feel about this handbag. But no, I did not purchase it by any means whatsoever. I was approached by Fashionphile about a month ago, and they extended the opportunity for me to be able to borrow one of their handbags for a couple of weeks. Now, this is not a service that they currently offer, although how amazing would that be? But I thought it was pretty awesome that they gave me the opportunity to be able to do this. So to say I was excited is a major, major understatement. And I kept thinking to myself, okay, I have to seize the moment. This isn't something that happens often. So I thought to myself, should I go for a handbag that I'm thinking about adding to my collection? That way I can give it kind of a trial run to see if it really works out for my lifestyle before I spend the money. Or should I go for a handbag that I can't stand and see if it changes my mind? So I was conflicted. I took it to Instagram and I asked you guys which of the two I should do. Should I go for a bag that I'm thinking about buying? Or should I go for a bag that I can't stand to see if it changes my opinion on it? And by a landslide, I think it was like 90% to 10% said go for a bag that you can't stand. Now there were some conditions to being able to borrow the handbag. It had to be under $6,000. It couldn't be in brand new or in giftable condition. So with that in mind, I asked you guys what bag I should go for. Now some people had suggested the Birkin, but because of the price point, that bag was out of the runnings. I also had suggestions for the Chanel 22 and of course the Chanel 19. So I took another poll, and once again, by a landslide, the Chanel 19 won, and that is why it is in my hot little hands today. So for the last 10 days, I've been able to use this bag and incorporate this handbag into my everyday life and into my wardrobe just to see if it works out for me. And that way I can truly say whether or not this bag is for me or not. So it will be going back to Fashionphile, and because of the time constraints that I have, I wanted to include a review on this bag as well for this video. So I will start with the review first, and if you guys want to just jump ahead to the $1 million question, I will put a timestamp on the description box below. All right. Let's do this. Now I have my notes in front of me because I definitely don't want to leave anything out in this video, but as far as the review goes, this is the Chanel 19 in the size medium in the red lambskin leather with the mixed hardware. The measurements are approximately 10 inches in length, 7 inches in height, and 3.5 inches in depth. It does feature two different chains. You have a shorter chain with a handle drop of 3.5 inches and the longer chain with a handle drop of 20.5 inches. This bag weighs in at approximately 1 pound, 10.2 ounces, and it currently retails $5,700 here in the States. All right, so now let's do a quick little tour of it. So on the front side, you have the distinct Chanel 19 CC logo. It is a turn lock closure. There is a side view. There is a back view. There is one exterior pocket. This pocket does have the snap button closure. There is another side view. It does not feature any feet along the bottom. And then on the top, as I said, you do have two different handles or two different chains. One here, and then you have this longer chain, and this chain does have a little leather portion for added comfort. And here are the different types of hardware. You have ruthenium, you have the aged gold hardware, you have the shiny silver hardware. So like I said, it does have the mixed metal. So there's the front, again, turn lock closure. It opens up like so. And then on the inside, you have one open compartment, one zippered pocket. There are no slip pockets in this either. So it's just one open compartment. And it says Chanel made in Italy. The interior is fabric lined. Now this bag also came with the certificate of authenticity, which I have right here. And it also came with the original tag. There we go. And I will include all of this information if you guys are interested on the description box below. And as you can see, it used to retail for $5,100 here in the States. And I will also include the ID number for Fashionphile, because as this bag is going back to Fashionphile, if you are interested in it, I will include that down below if you want to check it out. And one other thing I forgot to mention when it comes to the chains, they are not removable and they are not adjustable. So that is a really quick tour of the Chanel 19 in the size medium and the red lambskin leather with the mixed hardware. All right, now for the pros. The first pro in my eyes is definitely how spacious this handbag is. The fact that it is a little bit more of a relaxed structure and you only have one compartment, it really allows you to maximize your space and be able to carry a lot more with you. You have a lot more play with this handbag. I mean, you can easily end up fitting your larger wallets in here, no problem. Your larger SLGs, no problem. No need to go uber compact because you don't have to deal with a second flap taking up space. So it is very spacious. I love that. There was a time when I was carrying a little bit more and I felt like I can carry everything that I normally carry in a larger tote. Or if I wanted to carry a little bit less, I also had that option. So again, it gives you a lot more play. And I do think that it's wonderful. Another pro is how lightweight this handbag is. You can definitely use it for extended periods of time. I do like the fact that it does have a little leather portion for added comfort because this chain, I will admit, this chain makes up the majority of that 1 pound, 10 ounce weight. Absolutely. The chain has some good weight to it. It's not flimsy. And even though it is a little bit, it definitely has the heavier side of that, of the weight of this handbag, due to the lightness of the leather and the fact that it does have the fabric interior, it really offsets the heaviness, and I say that very loosely, the heaviness of the chain, and it creates the perfect marriage because you don't have to worry about a heavy chain and heavy leather and heavy lining or anything like that. So it really makes this bag very enjoyable to use for extended periods of time. And this chain doesn't dig into my skin, whether I go to use it crossbody or on my shoulder, or if I decide to use it on the crook of my arm. It's definitely not one of those chains that you're like, oh my gosh, get it off me. This is way too heavy. It's very uncomfortable. Absolutely not. At least not in my experience. Another pro is this leather. Now I know that this bag is available in other materials, but when it comes to the lambskin leather, it is absolutely amazing. I really wish there was like feel-o-vision or something so you guys can feel the softness of this handbag. It is absolutely incredible. Now I am a sucker for Chanel's lambskin leather. I wasn't always, but I have a huge appreciation for it now. I have a few items within my collection with the lambskin leather. I absolutely love it. This lambskin feels a little bit different. I wouldn't say that lambskin is necessarily delicate. I know some people kind of view it that way, but I personally wouldn't say that it's a very delicate type of material. But this one feels like it's a little bit sturdier. It feels like it has that type of sturdiness, but in a buttery softness type of way. I don't even know if that makes sense or not, but that's honestly the best way that I can describe it. It doesn't feel like it's going to scratch just by looking at it. It doesn't feel like, I don't want to touch it because something's going to happen. Definitely not. Like you want to touch this bag because of how that leather feels. I don't know. I don't know. I probably sound insane talking right now, but that's honestly the best way that I can describe it. It is sturdy and it has that good thickness to it in a buttery softness type of way. Yeah, let's go with that. Another thing that I really like about this bag is how casual it is. And being that I am such a casual dresser, this is right up my alley, so it was very easy for me to incorporate into my lifestyle. I know some people have mentioned that they end up dressing this bag up, but for me personally, I just view it more as a casual everyday bag, a great bag to run errands in. I'm not saying that you can't dress it up by any means whatsoever, but I just really like the fact that you have that relaxed look, you have a little bit more hardware, and it just looks like a very casual everyday bag for me. So the casualness of it is definitely something that I would consider to be a major pro. Another thing that I appreciate is the fact that this is kind of a pro and a con, and I'll talk about that in a second, is the fact that you have multiple ways of being able to carry this bag. Even though you can't remove the strap, you can use this longer strap either crossbody or on your shoulder, and the fact that you have this little handle here allows you the chance to use this either as a hand carry bag or on the crook of your arm. So you have a little bit more play, you have a little bit more versatility. Now the last pro that I would have to say is due to its popularity, this bag holds its resale value insanely well. I mean, even if you look on the pre-loved market, many of them are going for above retail, especially in some of the classic colors. I opted for it in red because red is a color that I would normally go for anyways when it comes to a handbag. other than black. But I really wanted the details to sing, and I really wanted the details to pop when I did this video, so that's why I went for the red. But I digress. The popularity of this bag has been absolutely, I mean, has been incredible. It causes a buzz on social media. I mean, it's been around for a little bit now, and even then, from when it first launched to now, it still is it's a very popular handbag that is very difficult to get your hands on when it comes to certain combinations or certain colors. But yeah, so it definitely ends up holding its resale value, and it'll just keep increasing in price. I mean, let's be honest. Let's be honest, all right? That's exactly what's going on when it comes to Chanel handbags. All right, now for the cons, the hardware. The hardware, to me, there is way too much going on. I mean, you have the shiny silver hardware, shiny ruthenium hardware, the matte age gold hardware, the ruthenium hardware. There is just so incredibly much. I know some people find it very charming. I find it to be very distracting. And I really think that it takes away from the beautiful leather that this handbag has, because I feel like you automatically focus on the chain. And I realize that that's probably, or that's the intent that they had for this chain, something that stood out. But just to me, it's way too busy. There's so much going on that I feel like my eyes can't really appreciate the bag for what it is because of this hardware. It's like all over. I don't know. Another con for me are these giant quilts. Now, I realize that they were going for a slouchy look, and you guys heard me say that the relaxed structure that it has can be viewed as a pro. But for me personally, when it comes to these quilts, they look like they're defeated. They look like they're gonna get really old really fast. I don't foresee this handbag aging well. It almost seems like a bag that was improperly stored, because you have these gnarly wrinkles and these gnarly indentations. Again, I completely understand that they wanted to go for something very, very different from its structured sister, the classic flap, right? I get that. But it just seems like it's a bag that I've had in my closet, like in the corner of my closet for like 10, 15 years. And I know that might seem a little bit drastic, but that's how I personally view these quilts, because they're not puffy. And I do like the puffiness of the quilts when it comes to Chanel. I keep saying this over and over again. I realize that they wanted something very, very slouchy, something very relaxed. But I don't know. I feel like it looks like an old bag when you first get it. And I know some people have also compared this to the reissue, because the reissue, if you buy a brand new, it already looks like it's old. That's the intent that they had for that bag. But I also think it's very different from the reissue. I don't know, like the reissue to me looks like it's intentionally supposed to be that way, whereas this one feels like it just got abandoned in the back of a closet. I don't know. That might be a little too much. But yeah, the quilts, I'm definitely not a fan of them. Another con, you guys heard me talk about the chains and the fact that you do have two different straps and you have a little bit more versatility in how you can end up using it. But on the same note, I feel like when it comes to this longer strap, the fact that you can't remove it and the fact that you can't adjust it, it can prove to be too long depending on your height. Now, I sit at 5'5", so it hits right at my waist, but I really wish there was an option in order to make this strap a little bit shorter, so that way I can use it as a shorter shoulder bag. Because if you can't end up using this longer strap, depending on your height, then you're only left with using it this way, so you can only use it on the crook of your arm. You can only use it as a hand carry bag. I've also seen some people add chains to this in order to be able to use it as a shorter shoulder bag. So again, I really wish it would have had an option in order to change this from a one-size-fits-all type of long strap to be able to carry it a little bit higher up on your torso. So that was definitely a major bummer. Another con for me, which was also a pro, we go back to this fabric lining. The fabric lining adds to the lightness of the bag, but I also think that for the price point that these handbags are, I really wish it would have had leather lining. The fact that you have fabric, I think, is a major turnoff. I know that in some of the other handbags that Chanel has within their collection, within the lineup, they change from fabric to leather, and I thought that was awesome, especially once again, when it comes to the price point. So the fabric interior, you know, it's great for lightness, but for the price that you're paying for a bag, I really, really wish it would have had the leather lining, absolutely. All right, another con is this bag turns into a somewhat beautiful mess. As you guys can see, it's completely empty. So it's very, very relaxed. I think it would benefit greatly from for me personally, it would benefit greatly from an organizer in order to help it keep its shape. So when you put your items inside, it does end up sitting in the upright position. However, if you end up carrying a little bit less with you, this chain here automatically pushes the bag that way. And this is exactly what happens on any type of surface. If you're carrying a little bit less, if you're carrying more, it does stay in that upright position and you don't really experience this as much, but still it just does this. And it drove me crazy. There was a point when I seriously had to hold the bag like this in order to get in and out of my items, just so I wouldn't have to deal with it moving this way. So the chain, the weight of this handle strap pushes the leather over for this to happen. And because of that, you're also going to experience even more wrinkles. So that's where the majority of these wrinkles come from the way that you end up opening this bag, that it just automatically ends up doing that. I also wanted to include some comparison shots with other handbags that I have within my collection, just to give you guys a better idea when it comes to its size. So, the million-dollar question, do I still hate the Chanel 19 handbag or am I a fan? Neither. While I do have a stronger appreciation for the pros that this bag brings to the table and what I discussed in this video, this handbag is still a no for me. It doesn't make my heart sing. It doesn't make me do a double take. I don't find it to be aesthetically pleasing. None of those things. However, I can definitely understand and see why so many people love this bag, why so many people have multiples of this bag in their collection, and why it has become a go-to when it comes to their handbags. I can absolutely see that. Now, I am many things. One thing I am not is closed-minded. So I welcomed this opportunity with open arms, because in the past, I have said no and never to handbags. And what ends up happening? Slowly but surely, those same bags that I say no to, that I said no to, that I said never to, make their way onto my shelf, and usually they end up becoming some of my favorite handbags of all time. So I have eaten my words one letter at a time. I am always proud, and I'll be the first person to admit when I am wrong. So I really wanted to see how this bag would work out for me, because I'm not the type of person that just because I don't find something attractive or appealing doesn't mean that I'm automatically going to write it off and say, oh, it's hideous, it's a terrible bag. Absolutely not. I can always appreciate what it brings to the table, even though the handbag might not be for me. So as I said, this bag definitely has more pros than cons in my eyes, but the biggest con is the aesthetic of it, and that makes it a hard pass for me. So do I recommend it? Absolutely I do. I definitely do. If you are in the market for a new Chanel handbag, something that is very comfortable, something that is very spacious, and something that also holds its resale value insanely well, I definitely think that looking into the Chanel 19 would be a great way to go. Of course, there are multiple sizes. I do like the medium size just because it's not too big, it's not too small. But again, for me personally, it does have those cons. But that does it for this video. I wanted to say a huge thank you to Fashionphile for this amazing opportunity. I don't know if I'll ever be able to do this again. How awesome would that be? Because I feel like I'd be able to, you know, really experience the bags that I always thought were major, major no's for me. And even though my opinion didn't change when it came to the Chanel 19, as I said before, I have a better understanding of why so many people love it. You know, but again, a huge thank you to Fashionphile for this awesome, awesome opportunity. They have a plethora of Chanel 19 handbags on their website if you guys want to check it out. I will put a link on the description box below, as well as the SKU number, as well as the ID number to Fashionphile, because this bag is going back today. So yeah, I hope that you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure and give it a thumbs up. If you haven't already and you would like to, please subscribe to my YouTube channel, and I'll see you guys later. And as always, make it a fabulous day or not, the choice is yours. Have a great day.